You're listening to Delightfully Dim-Witted, brought to you by T&T. Good morning, Tara. How you doing?
Good morning, Taylor. I'm great. How are you?
Doing good.
I got to tell you something, Taylor. I had a dim-wit moment this week.
I'm sure amongst many others, but let's hear it.
Yes. I'm going to pick cream of the crop, and it's the first one and the biggest one. A few weeks ago, I mentioned I saw my cellulite for the first time, and maybe it's time I should do something. And let's be honest, at the time, I wasn't going to do anything.
But you did.
But I actually did. And I went on Weight Watchers, and I decided to walk casually, but more than I did before, to see if I could get any of the weight off.
Went against what you were saying last week, because before you said, I'm going to get on Weight Watchers.
Right.
Not going to exercise.
Right.
Because I need to lose the weight before I exercise.
You're absolutely right. Thank you for bringing that up. I did say that. And you're going to ask me, well, what changed in the last 2 weeks? What changed was I was on the ground doing something, picking stuff up. I have an 11-year-old. She gave me a weird look. It sounded weird. I get it. But I couldn't physically stand up. I didn't know if it was my knees. I didn't have the strength. And I'm like, look, I'm 49. I should be able to stand up off the floor. Look, I'm not going to necessarily lift weights and do any of that, but let me just walk instead of lay on my bed.
Yeah.
Which was so lovely, and I miss those days. It's only been 2 weeks.
So great.
It is. So I went on, I bought a fitness watch, and I thought it would be a great idea. I was excited about it. I wanted to see if it worked, if my $24.99 actually was worth it. So I asked my 11-year-old son, hey, bud, let's go for a walk. We'll walk to the mall. And he's like, Ma, the mall's kind of far. And I'm like, it's not bad. It'll be all right. And I gave incentive. I said, look, you can take your ATM card, because I believe children should be fiscally responsible, and no matter the age, they have to learn it early. So I had gotten him a debit card, and he had money on it. And you can look and see if there's anything you want at Target. And then they have a little arcade there. We could stop at the arcade. Yeah, I bribed him to walk with me.
You would have had me at arcade.
Exactly. So he's like, all right, because I don't know if I should really agree with this. And I said, you don't need to, because I'm telling you have to do it no matter what, but I'm just going to give you incentives. So it's like, okay, fine. I'm like, pack your water. So we start walking.
Oh, good you took water.
I was smart enough to take water. We put on our little fanny packs. We started walking.
You did not put on fanny packs.
Yes, 100%.
Both of you?
Yes, he's got his own fanny pack, but they're like hiking packs. It's not.
Oh my God.
I mean, mine's huge. Mine looks like an 80-year-old woman. It's fantastic. But that's neither here nor there, Taylor. Stop judging me.
I need a picture.
You can go look at the bag. It's in the other room.
All right.
Okay. So we start walking. I'm really excited because all I need to do is get to my 10,000 points, because apparently that's what you need to steps. What did I say? Points. That was a dim-wit moment. So we start walking, and I'm like, oh, look, this is great. I'm going to make my 10,000 steps today. 9,000 steps we're approaching.
This is just on the way there.
This is just on the way there. Yeah. And my kid's like, Mom, this is a long distance. I think we should turn back. I go, Bud, I'm telling you, it's right there. He goes, how many blocks? I'm like, it's 2 blocks. And he's like, well, by blocks, I meant, the blocks with the lights on it, not the blocks before the lights, because we live in a very residential area. We get there, and we're tired.
Yeah.
And I look down, and we had walked almost 3 miles.
So how many steps is equivalent to 3 miles? Just so that people understand.
I'm not really sure, because that will let me do the math. It's 5 miles is 10,000 steps.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So we did 3 miles there.
Got it.
Which meant we had to walk home.
Yes.
But I didn't think it was going to be a problem, because I was like, all right, I'm tired, I'm hot, but I'm okay. I feel good. He's like, all right. I gave him some food, because I'm nice. I bought it. It cost me a fortune. It was at the mall. I didn't know. And then we went. He got Target. He bought himself something. I said, I'm not carrying it.
It's more like carry it back.
Yeah, you're carrying it back. I'm not carrying it back. Put it in his little fanny pack. We went to the arcade. He's living high on life.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, buddy. it's time to go. He's like, oh man, we're having fun, but all right. Like, we got to walk back. We're walking out of that mall and he's like, Mom, seriously, best day ever. We walk about 27 more steps and he goes, I'm tired. Do we have to really walk all the way home? I'm like, well, yeah. Hello, asshole. We don't got a car. Of course you got to walk home.
Something called
Of course,
Uber.
I didn't call my kid an asshole to his face. I just do that behind his back like every other mother.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was okay. And then about another 30 steps later, my feet start hurting. Now my legs are fine, but my feet are killing me. I'm like, we like stop. I'm like, well, you want to stop and rest? We haven't even gotten to the light yet. Like the first out of the 72 lights we had to go through. And so we rest and he's starting to go. Like he's really like having his like, I don't think I'm going to make it. We've gone not even a half a mile. Right. And I'm like, buddy, we can do it. And I've become a cheerleader. And I'm like, and in my mind, I'm like, we can't do it. We can't do it. We're never going to get there.
Yeah.
And it was a rough walk home. At one point, no joke, we saw our UPS driver. I swear to God, we saw Steven. We saw him about, I would say about about a mile from the house. And he's like, hey, and he waves. He doesn't pull over. He's turning the corner and we're just crossing the street. He's like, oh, you guys are out walking today? And Kai, like, he's like, Mom, ask him to give us a ride home. Mom, like, I can't ask the UPS guy for a ride home. I just can't do it. So we made it home. And then, of course.
It's not legal on his part.
It would. It's not like there's chairs in the UPS truck. We would have to like sit on a package or somebody's like chase lounge. It was a Dim-Wit moment. And we got home and he's like, Mom, I just want you to know, as much as I love you, I will never listen to you again.
6 miles isn't like awful. To start off at 6 miles is a lot.
I was fine except for my old lady feet. That's what got me. He said his bones hurt. I'm like, dude, you're 11. If you can't handle this, you're in worse shape than me.
Well, that's growing pains or something.
Maybe. I just think it was 6 miles was a little too much. I mean, again, I'm old and...
Has he walked with you at all since?
Yes. We've walked around because, again, I noticed there's a lot of me bribing my child. He doesn't get to play video games and I put this Pokemon Go.
Right.
And I'm like, buddy, if you go for a walk with me, you can play Pokemon Go. And he's like, okay.
That's what you should have done on the way to the mall.
On the way to the mall was fine. We had
on
such
the way
a
back, I should say.
Yeah. But I didn't think about it. I took my flip phone, but not my smartphone.
Right.
Because I don't ever use it. It's tough getting old. You don't know because you're 32, not 33.
Correct.
Like I
always think I am.
Always think I am.
Soon you'll be right.
What year were you born?
1990.
1990. Do you know you're considered Gen Z?
Yes.
Generation Z?
Yes.
I was born in 1973.
You're Gen A.
I'm not. I'm Gen X. But it's funny you say that. And here's why. Because I did a little research on the different names of the generations. And it started with the greatest generation. That's what it was called. It was 1901 to 1924. And they called their generation the greatest generation.
Okay.
And then the next generation, which is what I wish we were in right now, was called the silent generation. I shit you not.
Why?
I don't know. I didn't look it up. Come on, I'm not going to do that much research.
What?
But it was 1925 to 1945. They called it the silent generation. I wish some of the kids would be in the silent.
It was
1925 to 1945.
World War II in there.
You did. Maybe everybody was... Well, we're not going to joke about World War II, so we're just going to keep moving through that. After that was the baby boomer. Again, I think they're very creative names, right?
Yeah.
And then after the baby boomer, we went, here's the Gen X, Gen Y, Gen Z, 1995 to 2009.
That was Gen Z?
1995 to 2009.
Then I wasn't Gen Z.
You just said you were born in 2000? What?
In 1990.
Oh, you're Gen Y.
There you go.
Then Gen Z, and then Generation Alpha. So I assume the next generation will be beta.
Yeah.
And then Charlie. We're going to just go through the NATO alphabet at this point, right? Alpha, beta, Charlie, Delta, Echo. Yeah, I know it. I memorized it just for fun. But it's just, we've gotten so lazy. I don't understand. Why can't we just be called, like, why couldn't Gen X, like my generation, called like freaking fantastic generation? And then like Gen Y would be like, I deserve it without working for it generation. Is that too much? No offense.
Wow.
Well,
that's
not you.
more Gen Z.
Okay, we'll put that in Gen Z. I think that's what I meant. I meant Gen Z, sorry. Maybe this generation Alpha would be like, blame Gen Y or blame Gen Z, like it's his fault.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how we've screwed it up so much, but this is what our parents have passed down to us.
Yeah, it's interesting. I didn't know.
We've raised these people. My generation raised the current generation.
I just wonder, like, who decides what year it's gonna.
And who decides the names? Is it the president of the United States?
No, I don't see it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it.
Is Joe Biden going, hey, I think it should be Generation Alpha? He doesn't talk like that. I sound very much like Nixon.
Yeah, you do.
I know, that was really good. What else do you think our parents, as far as generation, passed down to us? What do you feel like your parents have passed down to you?
Religious beliefs, I guess, would be one.
You are one of those religious followers.
No, I wasn't. My grandparents are Jewish, right?
Yes, we decided you were very Jewish on the last one. Yes.
But my mom wasn't like practicing.
Right.
So then I think that, plus my dad was Catholic, so
yeah.
So I had both.
Right.
Christmas and Hanukkah.
Woo!
That was all I cared about.
Sure, presents for both.
Yeah, so there wasn't like a big religious background, but there's belief.
Okay, what do you believe in? Do you believe in a God?
Yes. I don't know why.
Do you believe so when you die, you're going to go to somewhere and there's going to be a dude there or a lady? No?
I mean, I don't know that I necessarily believe that once you die, you're like, you go to hell or heaven, whatever. I do think that there's like a bad place that you can go to and then a good place, but not like you're met at the gates of heaven. But I think it's important to believe in a higher being because otherwise it's a lot more scary.
Sure. Isn't that what religion is, really? Is believing in something bigger than you. So when the bad things happen, it gives you that you can do it. You can get through it if you just believe.
Yeah. But you can take religion way too far.
Yeah, you can.
Right? Like,
so why half the wars in this world have happened is because of religion.
Exactly. And there are just some, like, even with the Jewish holidays, I'm like, these sound like fairy tales, where Moses is parting the seas. Maybe. It sounds like
I'd like to see it happen.
Right.
I want to have that power. Can I part the seas?
Yeah, it just sounds like
I can't even park the car, let alone part the seas.
It just sounds like a fun story.
Right.
And I'm like, all right, that's cool. Like, if you want to tell the story and it's just folklore, right? But I don't believe in all that shit.
Right.
But for whatever reason, I do believe that there is some being that, like, has an effect on your life. So that if you do good, good will come back to you. I believe in energies and...
Okay, well, that's different, right? That's more spiritual.
Yeah, I'm spiritual.
Yeah. I would consider myself spiritual, too.
Do you believe in spirits?
By spirits, you mean ghosts? Yes, I actually do.
Okay. So
I saw one. I swear to God. I saw one when I lived in an apartment. Some dude in a plaid jacket and a plaid hat walking through my backyard.
Oh, that's creepy.
It was super creepy. Now, when I went to see if there was someone in the backyard, and it was a shared complex, there was nobody there.
You went? Like, you went outside?
Yeah, because I was in my kitchen.
You're
my dad was... No, I was like, I see a dude in a plaid jacket walking, like...
That is when you lock the doors and you stay inside.
No, there's nobody there. And then I called my friend who lived right next door because we were all friends in the building. And I'm like, dude, I just saw a dude with that. And she's like, She goes, I think years ago there was a guy who lived in the building, an old guy who wore plaid. That was the story. I'm like, it's a ghost.
See, but how can you believe in that but not in. You think when you die, you die.
Yes.
How does that
in a
make
way,
any sense?
I think that I think people are energy. The world is full of energy, right? The universe, how that works. And I believe that it could be a spirit, it could be energy, it's something. I think it's just we float in the atmosphere, or we just get buried in the ground, and that's it. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. The problem is, you know what, Taylor, let me tell you something. I don't know.
Yeah.
And
so you don't know why you believe it, but you just do. Because you think you've seen it. But you can't explain it.
I can't explain it. And I'm a very I want to see it to believe it, because I don't believe it unless I see it.
Right.
My mother died, and she loved rainbows, and we did a whole slide presentation, and everything was about rainbows and butterflies. And after she died, I swear to the spirit, to the rainbow, that it was her telling me she's okay.
Yeah. Or is it that you're more aware of those things after, you're
more aware
for it?
And that's really what
it's
it comes down to.
I got a Tesla, and then you see Teslas everywhere after that. And is it just because you're more aware of them because you have it?
I agree. Yes, I do. That's exactly. And because you got a Tesla, I now see Teslas everywhere. You're so energetic. Energetic, not the word. You're so smart. Not a dimwit at all. So as far as religion goes, so you believe when you die.
But I'm not religious.
Right. So it's not really religion.
But I believe that there's
something bigger than you.
Right.
Because you always made fun of me when I die. What did you always say? What's my hell? What's Tara's hell?
So Tara hates the cold.
Yeah.
So she was always excited about hell because she's like, ooh, it's nice and fiery down there. And I was like, your hell? It's frozen. You're going to be so cold down there.
And then it dawned on me, God forbid I am wrong and there is a heaven and hell. I am so screwed.
Yeah.
Because I just thought, they always say, hell, fire.
There's no tea for you. It's just a block of ice.
That would be awful. I need to be nicer to people.
Yeah. You're nice to people. Considering what other people do to others.
Oh, that's true.
We're doing pretty good.
I've not murdered anybody. Yeah. That's true.
We're fine.
I was raised Episcopalian. You know what that is?
That sounds like
it's Diet Catholic.
Yeah. You're eating fish all the time.
We eat fish all the time. Episcopalian is English Catholic. I like to call it Diet Catholic. My father was Catholic. My mother was Episcopalian.
Oh, yeah.
They were going to raise us Catholic. My mother didn't have any brothers and sisters. My father had all brothers and sisters, so many. So Catholic it was going to be. And then they were getting ready, and my father got in a fight with the priest. Not a physical altercation. I don't know the details, and he's 90 years old. He can't tell me now. He doesn't remember. So I'm just going to make up the story and pretend it's true. Whatever the reason, he got into a fight with the priest, and he said, hell no, I am not raising my kid Catholic. So my mother's like, well, English Catholic it is.
I really don't know what he got into.
I don't know what happened, but it was a big fight. He's like, I'm not raising him. That's it. You're done. We're done with the Catholic Church.
Wow.
And he wasn't a big churchgoer anyway. They just did it because they did it. They
did it because their parents did it.
Exactly. It was just part of what they did.
Yeah.
Now we're Episcopalian, which, by the way, I love the Episcopalians. Episcopalians love everybody.
Okay.
They love drug addicts. They're big with Alcoholics Anonymous. They accept it. You're gay. They love you. They don't care. You're not going to hell because you're gay if you're Episcopalian. They accept everybody. Roman Catholics, on the other hand, they'll only accept you if you pay. I am offending so many Roman Catholics right now. I apologize in advance.
Screw them.
But... Okay, we only have 8 listeners, so we might not want to kill our demo right now. It's everything is burn in hell, do your rosary. I'm like, I can't. All religions are the same as far as they have the same thing in common. It's very simple. Do you know what it is?
No.
Be a good goddamn person.
Yes.
Be a good person. I'm not talking about these religious people who are extremists, but all religions. Buddhism, which is considered a philosophy.
Love Buddhists.
Right?
Love them.
You know what they teach you?
We're all connected.
Yes, be a good person. You want to reach enlightenment? Great. You're going to do these steps. You're going to follow reincarnation.
You want to come back as a lion or an anal bead?
I'm sorry. A what?
An anal bead.
What the hell is an anal bead?
Like a little something that's in
in your butt?
Butthole.
Oh, that's disgusting.
If you're a bad person, you're an anal bead.
I do not want to come back as someone's butt beetle.
Yeah.
That sounds awful. Mm-hmm. So yeah, reincarnate, Eightfold Path, the Four Noble Truths. I just learned about that in my kids' history class in 6th grade. For the most part, Catholic, be a good person. Don't cheat on your wife. Episcopalians, love everybody. Just be a good person. What are the other ones? Hinduism, don't eat cow or pork. It's one of those things. I'm going to find out. Percy's going to be on our show, I think, next week or the week after. He's Indian. He should know stuff. But they all have a very similar thing. Do not be a dick. And you will either go to heaven, you will reach enlightenment, you will do Allah. I don't know how that works.
But what's funny is they have no evidence that being a good person means that you're going to a better life, right?
Except if you're Buddhist, which was Buddha, was a real person. His name was Siddhartha. Oh, I can't remember.
Did you look this shit up?
No, my kid, I just did this project with my kid. I swear it's true.
All right.
He was a real person. He was married at 19. He had his first baby at 29. And at that point, he realized there was so much cruelty in the world. And he left home to search to see why there was so much cruelty and what causes suffering. And he created these steps, these Four Noble Truths. Living is, I'm going to get this wrong, living is suffering. Suffering is caused by desire. Desire is caused by, like, it's all these things. I can't recall it. I could look it up, but I'm not going to. And then he created this, it's called the Eightfold Path, and it's 8 steps to reach enlightenment. Okay. So it's 8 steps to say, if you follow these steps, which is basically be a good human being, don't take a job that is going to, all of these, it's going to make it so you can live your life without pain and suffering. And it's called enlightenment, right? So he was a real person. This is based on a philosophy. It's not a religion.
Right.
It's not like, hey, Jesus got crucified and then somehow came back. Like, I don't understand. I'm like, look, if I could raise somebody from the dead, I would be a goddamn fucking millionaire. Right?
Yes.
So, I mean, that's the difference.
You think that they'd send someone down again?
Right, just to see. Experiment?
Just to say, you know what, we should try this again?
Let's crucify. Let's find the closest carpenter.
Get this new generation to believe again.
Certainly not.
Back then, they believed and they wrote the whole book, whatever.
Right.
But I don't believe because we need to see it. Right?
Yeah, why don't we Snapchat it? Or TikTok.
Can you imagine now?
Can we TikTok a crucifix? No, don't say that out loud. People are going to do it.
People are going to do
People
it.
are saying
that's the problem is we got to pick the right person. You got too many people that think they're freaking Jesus.
Well, they got to be a carpenter.
Sure.
They got to know how to work with wood. Right?
Yeah.
Because maybe the trick is he didn't really die. He just, because he was a carpenter, he pretended to crucify.
Houdini.
It was all illusion.
He's just a magician.
Could that be?
Probably.
Okay. Well,
I really do think that. Who was it the one that found him that he had risen?
Oh, I don't know. I know nothing about
Mary or something. They kept checking to see if the body was there, and then it just wasn't. I have a feeling one of them was just like, I really want to stop doing this.
So
Can we just get rid of the body? No one will ever know. We could burn it. There's no cameras at that time, you know?
Let me ask you something. How many people do you think we're pissing off right now with this conversation?
So many. It's so great.
But it's fun.
Yeah, it really is.
Well, your parents have they support you a lot, you know?
Yes.
So as far as a religion's there to support you. But your parents support you.
Yes.
They're your religion, really.
Yeah, it's funny because basically anything that I've done, they've supported. So whether it be deciding on a career path, deciding on a new college major. They're always like, hey, whatever makes you happy.
Oh my God, I wish I could be like that.
Well, maybe you should be like that. It could be that now anytime they were to disagree with something I'm doing, it would make me think about it more. You know what I mean? Because I've had so much support from them. I think if I ever didn't have support, it would make me think twice about it. So if, like, let's say with Pepperdine, when I was deciding that I wanted to leave and continue into production, my mom was like, go for it.
Right.
Which was awesome. Because
So was I. I'm like, I need you back. You got to work for me.
My grandparents were not supportive of it.
Different. Were they from the silent generation or the baby boomer?
The 31 and 32. So
that would be the silent generation. That's why.
Yeah.
You don't make changes in the silent generation.
They were very like, it's a good job.
Why would you leave?
Yeah.
It doesn't. Back then, they didn't care about your happiness, being happy.
Yeah.
I mean, they lived during the Depression. Isn't that the Depression? When the fuck was the Depression?
Yeah.
I was? Okay.
Well, yeah, and it was the time when they were, grabbing sheet metal for the war.
Right.
And, living off of basic
Spam.
means.
In Hawaii. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because I had both my parents saying, do whatever makes you happy. Like, it was...
That's nice.
How about you?
Nobody really ever said anything in my family on what to do. My mom, it was all about my mother because she raised. My father was there, but as he says, like, hey, your mother raised you. I was working. I'm like, oh, okay. So my mother, anytime I asked my mother for her advice, she would never give it to me. She would say, you need to do what you feel is right. It doesn't matter what I say. You're going to do what you're going to do anyway. And that's the difference in our personalities. I'm very headstrong. You tell me I can't do something, I'm just going to do it to prove that I can do it. Which irritated me because sometimes I didn't want to have to think of it myself. I wanted someone to tell me what was good and what wasn't good. My mother, bless her heart, she put me through college on her own paycheck. She was a secretary, and it was not a cheap college back then. I mean, $80,000. It was a private university. And back then, that was a lot. It's a lot of money now, but not for college.
Yeah. It still is, but now you're looking at 80,000 for a year.
Times 4, yeah,
right.
Exactly. And I came out of college with no student debt, so I was able to save my money.
Me too.
See, and if my child ever wants to go to college, which bless him if he does, and if he doesn't, I have said to him many times, you don't need to go to college. You can do whatever you want. As long as you are contributing to society, you are taking care of yourself and you have a job and you're a good person and so you can support. Yeah, I guess it's support. I mean, look, if he's 20, but if my kid's 23 years old and still in my house and doesn't have a job, I'd be like, get the fuck out. Like, my support's done. Yeah. I got you for so many years. And well,
that's
out.
Just wanting it's not wanting to like enable.
Right.
Yeah.
Enable.
Which makes sense.
Well, that's a whole other discussion about hover parenting and us doing shit for our kids. And unfortunately, this is what's happening when I joked about our generation. But I think we're almost out of time and we're going to have to pick that up on the next episode.
Oh, just flew by talking about Jesus and how he probably didn't rise again.
And like, it was an evil joke and he's Houdini and blah, 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 blah. So let's recap today's show. We talked about my dim-witted moment, walking 6 miles with my 11-year-old, not a good thing. Religion.
Yes.
Support system.
Yes.
Stay tuned for next week, and we're gonna talk a little bit more about exercising and my view of exercising, as well as
kids. Let's talk about
kids and enabling children or not enabling children. Nepotism. Great. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next week.
And embrace the duh, everyone.